In most situations, it's not new to the world products that we are creating. Well, to some extent, it's some differentiation from the existing ones, and certainly the market may not perceive your point of view of your own products. In other words, your perception of what you're selling may not be the same thing as the perception of the prospect when you're trying to pitch it to them. And there may be multiple reasons why it is happening. Perhaps the product itself is different from both what your perception and the perception of the prospects. So how do you go about bridging that gap? Do you initially engage in training programs, or do you just learn as you go?
Right, and I think one of the dangerous things, and I've seen this happen time and time again, is trying to put yourself as the customer. You know, you're the customer segment, and everyone feels the same way you do, because they do not. So one of the most effective things a startup can do, and I believe very strongly in this, is to go do a segmentation analysis of their customers and understand why they buy. And there are a variety of different reasons, but, you know, I've done this in every startup. You know, one very successful one, which was DioTrust, we went out and we figured out that there were basically three segments in the security market, and there were people buying on value, people buying on brand, there were people buying on a combination of things, but they wanted to get good margin if they resold it too. But I mean, there were a variety of different reasons, and then we were able to go bucket the size of each segment and decide, one, how we would sell to each segment and what the priorities to each segment would be. So I think this is where a marketing exercise is extremely critical. And in a lot of startups, you'll see the leadership team basically skipping the segmentation analysis, going to market with the product and pricing and messaging that they've come up with without even thinking about it from the customer's perspective. So, you know, I would encourage everyone to take a look at the market, do an exercise, take a guess on the segmentation analysis, and then go out and talk to some potential customers to see if it proves correct. And if it doesn't, revise it. But you'll learn a lot more, and you'll be a lot more effective in your marketing message if you understand how your customers feel, not how you feel, but how your customers feel when they're buying a product.
And I can understand you with your background in business, both in terms of experience as well as your MBA from Northwestern University, that, you know, segmentation is something that is so basic to any strategy, any marketing, that it should come first. But it is very surprising that it doesn't. Even those who understand it, even for them, it's hard. And then the difference is, in most startups, it tends to be that these people are technical people. They have come from technical backgrounds. Not all of them, certainly, but many of them. Or I would say a large majority of them. So these concepts that seem very commonsensical and basic to some do not seem the same way to others. So when you do work with your investors, do you come across that situation where you see that these people are basically technical people who do not understand sales and marketing?
Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time. A lot of times a founder of a company has an idea based on personal experience and has come up with a very unique technical solution to the problem. But what I've always said, and I firmly believe in, is if you're going to invest in a company or start a company, start with a large group of founders. You know, one or two founders, you know, that have great technical knowledge will be extremely valuable, but you want to make sure that there's, you know, a good marketing or business development person on the team. Like, you know, it's early stage, so maybe they need to go to market through channels, or maybe there's another way to go to market, but there's got to be a marketing and business development person on the team. And there needs to be a salesperson on the team as well to bring that experience to the table. And the CEO needs to have the vision. You certainly can have the technical vision, but needs to carry the overall kind of unifying factor that takes sales, marketing, and technology together into one common vision as you go forward. But I wouldn't invest in a company that had an idea that was, you know, just had a marketing person. Not that just a marketing person's bad, but just had one, you know, person in marketing and didn't have the technical person. And I wouldn't do it the other way around either. And you do see people investing in companies that have pure technical experience, but not the marketing one. But you wouldn't see it the other way around. And my belief is that you've got to have those things in the initial team to mitigate risk, and to make it, you know, more successful potential investment. You really need to have those things at the beginning.